Alright, so it's a little bit weird that Twitch didn't update the content, even though I had Streamlabs update it, but whatever. We're playing not Edo Blossoms. We're going back to Kyoto Winds. But whatever. I guess it's gonna just take some time to update. Question for you all though, friends. Do we want to just skip through the common route content? Or do we want to try and like read through it all again? We did it the long version with Soji because it had been a while, but since we just went through a lot of that, I don't know if you all want me to sit through literally all of it again. Otherwise, we'll just kind of blow through a lot of the main content and go forth and just find the new content and read that stuff. Yeah, it's weird. I also updated I updated it on the dashboard and it's like really dumb. It still didn't work. I don't know why. Alright, maybe we'll do the prologue since we get that lovely intro to Hijikata. I'll try to suss out the Hijikata relevant scenes. And we'll do those and then we'll kind of skip some of the rest. Another thing that bothered you with Soju is the if you die I won't live without you. Yeah, that I mean that doesn't necessarily bother me given the context of how much shit they went through. But that's your mileage may vary. Soji's a very damaged boy when you get right down to it. So that whole thing kind of didn't surprise me. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be calling him Dad anymore. Dreamy McPurple Eyes! Oni Fukucho. Hijikata has many names. His route is also the one in which the title of the game actually gets contextualized. Lindy has been waiting for this day! I will make sure that if you miss anything, Lindy, I will link you the VOD. No, we have not done Sun Nun's route. He is one of the ones that got added as a dateable option with these remakes. So what I've been doing is we've gone through almost all of the original ones that were available, which are basically the guys you see on the screen here, not including Kazuma. They were the original ones who were available to romance when the game first came out. With the revisions and re-release of the game as the two games, Kyoto Winds and Edo Blossoms, they expanded the story, they revamped everybody's outfits a little bit, and they made several guys who were cast members in the original but not dateable options, and made them dateable. And then they added like 4 new guys who were not in the story at all and made them dateable. Or we could just call him Hijikata. Alright, now I'm really gonna go get my tea. Be right back. Alright, I lied. I actually still have tea, but whatever. I did make sure to refill my water and whatnot. And stretch a little. I'm gonna call him Coffee because he's tall, dark, and bitter. Oh my god, lady. Oops. Hey, let's go to the right screen. Pro streamer. We'll give it a few minutes though. I just wanted to make sure chat was visible for VOD purposes. Oh. What do we call him other than Hijikata? Because Hijikata is a lot to type. Coffee and Cheesecake is a cute pair name. Oh my god. I love it. One slide left to go. You can do it. I believe in you, Ren. So she's cheesecake in this playthrough. Oh boy. Apparently so. All right. I do kind of hope that they've maybe added some things that help push the chemistry in Chizuru and Hijikata's favor. Because my big problem with the original, when I played through Hijikata's route, was that there was really no... It didn't feel like there was actually romance. It felt like they just kind of randomly shoved it in at the last minute. It was very odd. And I mean, it made sense when you think about it, like, we call him dad jokingly, but basically he was running the Shinsengumi. He's kind of a busy dude. He didn't really have time for things like romance. So the way the original route ended up being was honestly a lot of just Chizuru shadowing Hijikata everywhere and watching the Shinsengumi collapse. And being sad about it. Because you can't really divorce Hijikata's route from the actual history, like at all, because he's such a prominent figure in it. Unlike, say, Heisuke, who actually died past a certain point in history, or Soji, who died past a certain point in history, so they could kind of go off the rails and do whatever they wanted. They don't have that luxury with Hijikata. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they do here. We won't really know until we get to Edo Blossoms, probably. Although if it follows the same pattern as it has with these other routes, they'll at least insert a unique scene or two for him in this one as we close in on actually getting onto his path. So, are we ready to do this? Now that I've set up the preamble. We doing this. Do. Of course I must do the thing. How do studio mode? There we go. Sorry, I had a brain fart and didn't remember how Streamlabs worked, because I'm really on the ball tonight. This is fine. Hashtag pro streamer. Wow, we've played 71 hours of Kyoto Wins so far. That's delightful. And we're only half done. Ha! And yay, back to the other opening. They're all great, but, you know. First time being here for the tippy top of a route. Wow! Alright, then we'll definitely do the prologue. It's been a little while since we did that. So does Hijikata have... No, he does not have DLC in this portion. It's officially paradise weather season. I know we're supposed to get like crazy amounts of rain the next couple of days here. That's gonna be interesting. Alright. New game desu. We're always Chizuru. We're gonna not skip the prologue. So we start in December of 1864.
So this is Kyoto. It was awfully impressive, no denying it. Even simple hellos between people passing in the street seemed warm and friendly. They nodded and smiled to one another, as if family and not strangers about on errands. Still, there was something else as well. Something making the city feel strangely cold. Almost as if there was a great invisible wall, shutting out anyone wandering from the country. I'm not sure if I belong here. No, that's all in my head. I walked quite some distance to reach Kyoto, and both my mind and body were exhausted. Even so, tiredness was no reason to meander and feel sorry for myself. I couldn't afford to. Excuse me. I hesitantly stopped to pass her by. I'm sorry. I seem to be a bit lost. Could you... What am I supposed to do now? I was lost again, but in a different sort of way. I sighed and looked up at the darkening sky. The sun was beginning to set. People I'd spoken to showed me no unkindness, and they'd given me the directions I needed, but... Was now really the best time to leave the city? Learning the person I'd hoped to visit had left town caused hope to seep from my crumbling resolve. The only person besides Father I could rely on in the city, Dr. Matsumoto.
Oh yeah, right. There's that whole weird, yeah. Typo. QA!
Dr. Matsumoto was a doctor serving the shogunate. I had never met him myself, but my father put a great deal of trust in the man. He told me that if I ran into any trouble in his absence, I was to contact Dr. Matsumoto. Unfortunately, Dr. Matsumoto was out on business and would not return for some time. Was I too hasty? Perhaps I should have waited. It is indeed rude to visit without warning, which is why I had sent a letter prior to my arrival. But it seems he had left before reading my letter. Lady, fix it! Perhaps, I thought, I should have waited for a reply before traveling to an unfamiliar city. But I can no longer spend time waiting idly for news. Is something wrong, Father? He paused for a moment and looked at me.
実はな、しばらくの間、京の都へ行くことになった。
Is it for business again? He'd left the house often during that period, sometimes for days at a time. How long will you be gone?
それはわからん。一月になるか、二月になるか。
Oh. There was no hiding my disappointment. Nonetheless, I wasn't a child anymore. I couldn't beg him not to go or some other foolishness. Yes, I'd be lonely, but I was much more worried for him. Please, Father, be careful. They say that the city of Kyoto is dangerous. He only smiled and nodded.
安心しなさい。お前が心配しないように、今日にいる間はできる限り手紙を書くよ。
Okay. You promise? Father kept his promise. A new letter arrived so often I scarcely had the time to respond before another would arrive. He told me that he worried about me being home all by myself. Then the letters stopped. A whole month passed with no word. Father... They say Kyoto is full of ronin. It is not a safe place. Usually, a samurai is paid by their house, but ronin who report to no house often rob people in order to make ends meet. They're nothing more than violent criminals who hide behind the image of the samurai. Such is the state of the city of Kyoto, the city of ronin. Small wonder, then, that I worried for my father. My mind would concoct horrible possibilities, and I often found myself depressed and tense. First, I suppose I need to find a place to stay. Lost in thought, I didn't notice nightfall descend. If I was honest with myself, I hadn't the faintest idea of how long searching for him would take. I'd brought a negligible sum of money with me, enough to last me a month if used wisely. Finding Father in this window of time was a must. Otherwise, I would have to depend on Dr. Matsumoto returning in this time, or else I'd be forced to return home without a word. Well, at any rate, I should try and be as frugal as possible. I lengthened my stride and set off on my path. Fortunately for me, men's clothing assisted with keeping a quicker pace than women's. Kyoto presented many dangers to a young girl hoping to explore the city without direction. My disguise, such as it was, proved successful, and I'd safely made it all the way to Kyoto. Such success went to my head and led me to believe I could explore Kyoto as I pleased. But Kyoto is not a safe place. I should have remembered that. Instead, I had somehow convinced myself that the city's hidden dangers didn't apply to me. I was about to discover otherwise. I spun around. In the street in front of me were 3 ronin. Can I help you? I did my best to keep my voice calm, reaching nonchalantly for my kodachi. My father encouraged me to take sword lessons. I'd kept with them, and I did rather well. I was confident enough in defending myself. However, perhaps my overconfidence in myself is what served the situation at hand to me. I'd messed up and let my guard down. My fault. There was a chance I could take them on, but there were 3 of them, and 1 of me. Only then did I realize they were far more interested in my sword than they were in me.
小僧には過ぎたもんだろ。
よこせ。国のために俺たちが使ってやる。
But this is... The sword wasn't just some blade I'd picked up. It was a family heirloom spanning generations. There was no way I could give it to the Ronin. Though I had a feeling they wouldn't understand. In such a situation, the best decision was undoubtedly to retreat. I turned and ran as fast as my legs could.
あ、おい、待ちやがれ小僧。
Gosh, they sure don't give up easily, do they? I felt like I'd been running for quite a while, but I could still hear the Ronin cursing loudly.
Hi, Farawadia. We're starting on Hijikata's route.
I ducked into an alley, flattening against the wall. After deciding they weren't too close, I crept farther into the alley. Someone left a couple of sheets of wood leaning against one of the houses. A perfect hiding spot. What luck, I thought, kneeling down under them. This is my way to escape this mess. Huh? I was listening for sounds intently. A suspicious calm entered my mind. I'd expected to hear the Ronin yelling to each other, looking for me, but seconds turned into minutes. I heard nothing. I was about to sneak out and have a look when... What? My plan to investigate was immediately halted. Remaining silent and hidden was more important. Still,
ちょ、やりやがったな。くそ、なんで死なねえんだよ。ダメだ、こいつら刀が効かねえ。
it was then that true fear began to set in. There was something dangerous out there. Something quite possibly lethal. My imagination conjured up no shortage of gruesome theories. Even so, I could feel an itch of curiosity. I wanted to know what was out there. Carefully, I peeked around the corner's edge. The cold reflection of moonlight upon a blade glared at me, and my eyes followed it to the arm that held it, clad in a coat of light blue. Had this person saved me? But no slower than it appeared, my hope vanished.
助け。
I heard the Ronin stumbling to beg for his life. The person in the blue coat said nothing, just stepped forward, his sword raised. A high, screeching laugh cut the man's scream. The blade fell through the air like a butcher's knife rather than a sword. No skill. Just death. The scream turned wet, caught, and disappeared like air leaving half-empty bellows. My eyes went wide. I had just witnessed a murder. Any strength I'd received vanished quickly. My legs gave way and I crumbled to the ground. My eyes widened like busted shells. He died with the first blow, but as I watched, the blades fell, carving lines into the corpse. The soft slip of a blade through flesh, the silent creep of blood across ground. I felt nothing from them but madness. Their only desire was raw, animalistic violence. Whatever they were, it wasn't human. They were broken. I could feel my throat clench tightly, and a warm, dark smell brushed against my face. I slowly recognized the coppery tang of blood. An icy bolt of fear ran down my spine, crawling into my limbs and freezing me in place. I was terrified. What was I going to do? What could I do? You have to run, Chizuru. I forced my jaw open and drew a ragged breath. This was the only chance I'd get. I had to. Ah! My body, still numb with fear, was unresponsive. I lurched sideways against the stacked wood, and with a rough clatter, it collapsed.
Yeah, oh boy. See, now I want to do tweets from Chizuru.
The creatures turned, coats drenched in blood. Their eyes locked with mine and bore into me. Hideous grins split their inhuman faces, shaking with excitement at prey to slaughter. I had to run! I couldn't die yet, but my legs refused to move. Their hideous, cackling laughter echoed. I was going to die. My body was frozen with terror. I couldn't even scream. This was it. This was the end. What? I watched them raise their bloody swords, the moon glinting off the metal. Then there was a flash of light and the soft splash of blood. I could feel it, warm and sticky. Bile began to rise in my throat, but before disgust took hold, I heard a voice. The words suggested disappointment, but the voice sounded happy.
僕一人で始末しちゃうつもりだったのに、はじめくん、こんな時に限って仕事が早いよね。
Alright, Renegade. Sleep well, my friend.
As he spoke, the strange man smiled, almost as if he were enjoying himself.
俺は務めを果たすべく動いたまでだ。あんたと違って俺に戦闘狂の気はない。
うわ、ひどい言い草だな。まるで僕が戦闘狂みたいだ。
He laughed.
否定はしないのか。
The man caught Saito aside with the air of a long-suffering companion and looked at me.
でもさ、あいつらがこの子を殺しちゃうまで黙って見てれば、僕たちの手間も省けたんじゃないかな。
Right? The character establishment moment in this prologue is still pretty great, so I like to revisit it from time to time. In this case specifically, since it's where we first meet Hijikata and Soji and Saito, it's good to revisit for their stories in particular. Everybody else turns up in the other thing once you get past the prologue.